Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Yossi Klavin, a captain in the Israeli army. Because of him, the Olam knows me as the stingy donator. I donated $1,800 a schus to Chayalim, but a bunch of other people joined. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming. I actually have something for you. I didn't know you're coming today, but in my pocket, just in case, I have one of these. There's a patch. that at least you can wear. I don't know if you're going to wear it, but maybe now, today. Do you have one of those things? Yeah, it's mine. Here, you have. I'll give you one, just in case. Here you go. Oh, maybe you have other friends that you want to give it to. Other daffers. Here. You have to remind me. Hear more. Yishkoyach. Thanks for your service. Keep safe. I just got off a Zoom call, literally 10 minutes ago, with the Chevra in LA, doing a chizuk thing. We're trying to build up LA. And at the same time, Shmulik Wasserman from Chicago, who was there every day for the Hebrew Shir, he, on his own initiative, he's putting together a screen and bringing the Olam together to the same shul that was giving Shir. And in Brooklyn, once again, this Motzei Shabbos, live, this is what we're hoping, that the Olam will get together. These get-togethers are very mechazik. They bring together the mishpacha. And once again, in Beis Medrash, Monastrich, so a few very powerful emails today. One of the superstars, Gershon Rose, the subject, 1,000 blot with MDY. Dear Eli Shlita, I can never have imagined this in a million years. What an incredible journey it's been. From the very beginning of Megillah, I joined the MDY family, and this week I am blessed to have completed 1,000 daf consecutively, learning twice daily. It's really remarkable that our status clips groups, they have a status clip group, has now grown to 1,000 members. 1,000 daf and 1,000 members. Baruch Hashem, this initiative has brought so many into the fold, and I'm humbled to share that I've personally recruited 120 participants alone. The Rebbeinu Shalom should give you 120 years of arichos yomim and gesund. With 26 volumes completed, see attached, I can confidently say that my life, both in this world and the next, will never be the same. One of my most cherished memories was celebrating Yissim at Volozhin Yeshiva a few years ago. And as you visit the holy sites next week, I kindly ask that you keep us in your prayers. I will, Be'ezer Hashem. And since yesterday, when I announced that I will daven for the Olam, chill out a little bit. We got over 1,000 names so far. Over 1,000 names. I can't be there for 7 hours. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand why Rav Chaim Kanievsky goes like this. He doesn't even say bua. He doesn't have time. Okay. Although I missed the last Shabbaton, I'm hopeful to join my MDY family at the next one. Additionally, I wanted to share a special moment from our summer vacation. My sons were so committed to their learning that they wouldn't skip a day on the tablet, including my 9-year-old. You hear this? On vacation, his 9-year-old. Thank you for being the top of this pyramid and my incredible journey. Warm regards, Gershi. It's time now to embarrass one of my good chaverim, who also is celebrating 1,000 daf today with MDY. For those of you who are new to the shir, I've said this numerous times, I'll just a quick hagdama, that Benny Rudnick, I used to daven with him in shul every single morning. And for 2 years, I would chaper him. 2 years straight. You could ask him almost on a daily basis. I would say, why don't you come to the shir? He says, I have to do carpool. I told him, carpool. There's a lot of people in the shir that do carpool and they still come to the shir. No, my wife, my that. Kitzer, until one day I bumped into him and his wife on a Shabbos. They were strolling down the street. And I ignored him completely. I said, why don't you send your husband to the daf? And she said, of course I'll send him to the daf. I said, but what about the carpool? She said, what carpool? He doesn't do carpool. I don't know if that was the Maisa, but Kaman Hoya. The Kitzer, something along those lines. With that being said, I want to read you what he wrote to me and I read it this morning. And once again, of course, last time he probably sent me the most emotional letter ever, and this is a follow-up. And he writes that, it's in Hebrew, but he can't get out of it. But Motzei Shabbos, Parshas Vayigash, Tainis Daf Chof Tes, my wife sent me for the very first time to the Beis Medrash of MDY. The truth is, it wasn't a very special shir. You weren't climbing on lions. You didn't even shecht a goat. You didn't jump on grapes. It was stam, another shir of belly. But something felt that I belong. It took me a day or two to understand that I have to come back and give it a small little shot with a very strong push from my wife. From that day until this very day, I have never missed a single day. Besides when I was in Chutz La'aretz, he came every single day to the Beis Medrash. In that very Motzei Shabbos, they put me next to you on the left, like right over our captain. And in a half a joke, you threw over to me, you said, we're going to finish shots together. Out of kavod and a little bit of an embarrassment, I shook my head. Let's just say that you don't need a Gedale Adar to be matan neder for that shaking of the head. But today, I finished 1,000 days from that Motzei Shabbos. It's not a number, and it's not the Yomi, it's not even the consistency that you could all put aside. It's 1,000 daf Gemara that I learned with you. I'm writing this and I can't believe almost half a shas. I don't have work anymore. I don't have sleep. I don't have vacations, davening, and even Torah. I have one thing. I have Daf Yomi, and my entire life goes around the Daf. Now, it used to be that it wasn't that hard. I would get up at 6, I would come to daven at 6:20, and I would be out at 8:10. And once a week, I would have to give up on going out with my wife on Motzei Shabbos. Today, it's night and day, because as we know, Benny runs the Hebrew shir. So he's here night and day. And a little bit on the side, I do some stuff for the shir, a little bit. My friends and my family gave up hope already, and they know how to live with it with a lot of love. What a schus. It's a tremendous opportunity for me to be makar toiva for 1,000 days meturafim. How do you say meturafim? There's no great word for it. Crazy days, full of mashma'ut v'tochen. Meaning in the content. 1,000 days of siyat shmaya without end. And my wife adds 1,000 days of quiet. Because Baruch Hu should give you tons of health, nachas, siyat shmaya from your Talmud Benny. When I got this, when I received this thing that he wrote last night, he sent it after the shir last night. I know when he wrote it. I thought this following thought. Imagine Benny at 120 years old going up to Shemayim. 120 goes up to Shemayim. And the Rebbeinu Shalom takes a good look at him and says, Benny, the butcher, yeah? Where are your 100,000 Talmidim? Where are they? And Benny says, 100,000 Talmidim? I'm a butcher. I have the best meat in Bet Shemesh. What do you mean? Rebbeinu Shalom puts on the big 100,000 square Amma TV screen, and he shows him 100,000 Hebrew-speaking people learning a daf every day. He says, these guys are your Talmidim. Where are they? Where are they? What do you do in your life? You butcher. You butchered your opportunity. This morning, Benny sends me this. I want to share with you on the screen right here. This is 6:13 this morning. Achen 150. Indeed, 150, meaning, he asked me 2 days ago, he says, what do you think? We should maybe do a little push for the Hebrew shir. It's the beginning of a parak, it's Elul, let's do something. I said, let's do it. And he's like, what's the budget? I said, we don't have a big budget there, $2,000, what can you do? For $2,000, Benny on his own initiative, nobody asked him, on his own initiative, he brought in 150 people. He called up Nisanel Gaz, and Nisanel was all confused, like, I didn't think about it myself, why not? Da, 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 da. 150 people. It's not a joke. Had he not come that Motzei Shabbos, he wouldn't have had this 150. The shir now in Hebrew, which is only 7 months in, we have over 8,000 people. 8,000 because of Benny that's pushing behind the scenes. Every single one of us has the potential. Every single one of us has the potential. And don't squander that potential. You could all be Benny Rodnick. You could all do it. He doesn't have the most amazing personality in the world. He's a great guy. Everybody loves him. But he says he does. He does. He has a great personality. But so do you. Everybody was born with a gift. And we're squandering potential. And we're going to learn in today's daf even. You will remind me all the way at the end, if we get there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes a cheshbon with potential. I said this at the thing for the Los Angeles, and on the way I was like, I have to say this. It just goes. The famous Vilna Gaon, who says that when you talk Lashon Hara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu punishes you for the Lashon Hara, but also for the Torah that you didn't learn in that minute of talking Lashon Hara. The potential, you get punished for potential. A guy doesn't have an excuse. I'm just a Chayal, I'm just a captain in the army. So, you have access to hundreds of people. I'm just a this and a that. So, if a butcher could do it, so could you. Adkan. One little more. September 2nd, 2021 was my first day with MDY, Masechtas Beitza. It was also my first day learning after many years of not learning. I used to say, still going strong. Now it's so irrelevant to say that. It's plain and simple. I do not go to sleep until I finish that day's daf. I don't necessarily remember anything the next day, but it brought structure to my life. It brought value, purpose, and just a total different outlook. You've asked me if I'm really hooked. The answer is self-understood. I'm hooked for life. It's been 3 years without missing a day. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Akiva Solkowitz, for being the right shliach. And thank you, Rebelli, for tirelessly putting your heart and soul into making it so easy and convenient to learn anywhere at any time. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for changing my life. Hillel Boyer, the famous Hillel Boyer, he still needs a shidduch. He's a young guy, successful, very successful young guy. He has a car leasing place in New York. Baruch Hu should find the right shidduch b'karov, and he should continue going. Good guy, geschmacky guy. Okay, we have a lot of geschmacky emails, and we'll have to read them a different time. The sponsors. The sponsor of the month for the Koil, Binyomin Rosenfeld for Atzlach and Business. The Masechta for safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Paras HaChodesh, Linishma Zechariah ben Moshe, Linishma Zechariah bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, Binyomin Rosenfeld with gratitude to Biderman, Rebelli, Gedale, Fenster, and Michael Safdie. Paras HaChodesh, Eli Stefansky, and now a new one, Abba Rennert. The rest of the month they've been starved to Rebelli's Shlita's dedication to Chayalim. And also, it's not in here, we should put it in. Reb Moshe Tzvi Dauber also is mitzvah for the refuah shleima and the safe and speedy return of our Chayalim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give them the ability to come home immediately. Paras HaChodesh, matching Rebelli's donation l'schut HaChayalim for the month. Shkoyach. Official Mitzvah Motivators in memory of, and this guy matching Rebelli's donation. Oh, matching. It's not the 26, it's 1800. Okay, I should have done 26. We would have made a little. Official Mitzvah Motivators in memory of Rabbi Yaakov, Shlomo, Ben Yechiel, Elchonon, father of Elchonon, and Morah, Toby, and Zaide, and Mrs. Friedland, Yechiel, Elchonon, Hefter. Paras HaShavua, refuah shleima, speedy recovery from a heart surgery, David ben Rivka. Paras HaYoim, official Mitzvah Motivators, Mazel Tov to Baruch Leib and Nechama Gross on the birth of a son, grandparents, Herbers, and Grosses, and to the great-grandmothers, please daven for Tinoik ben Alta Nechama, refuah shleima b'karov. Art of the month for Schus, for Rebelli, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Rabbi Isai, brand new Perek, HaMochers Asfino, we start off with some unbelievable Agadatas, some of the most famous of all time. Where's Leiby? It's in here? Ah, beautiful. Dafayin Gimel Amud Aleph. HaMochers Asfino, if a person sells a ship, and this is a continuation of the sugis that we were learning before, if a person sells a house, what's included? A person sells a field, what's included? A person sells a chotzer, he sells a city. What if he sells a ship? Mochar Satoiren, he sells the Toiren. If you look at the where it says Gemara, and the Rashbam says Iskaria, Look what it says. Could anybody read that word? Mem shin tes, mast. It's a mast. Mocher Satoiren, as the Gemara says, it's a iskaria, which is a mast. We have a few pictures. What is a mast? Here's a mast, the tall thing. Oy vey. Maybe make it lower. Gershon! Thank you. All right, I don't know if we need this one. Oh, that's the sail. It includes the sail also. But the real one that I want to show you is this. Here's. Don't worry, we're not going on this one. We need 7 times the size. I was looking it up. Some of these cruises cost, just to operate, over $1 million a day. And they have in the kitchen alone, how many people working in the kitchen? 1,200 people working in the kitchen. 1,200 people. So, Beis Hashem, we're going to need a little bit bigger than that. Hopefully they come up with a larger one. What's 1,200 people for us? Okay, so, Moches HaToyrin V'Saneis, the sail. V'Sa'oigin, here we have Oigin. There's an anchor off the aircraft carrier. It's slightly larger than your typical anchor. Maybe you could get a feel it's like the chain is like this big. Here, you could see here. Oh, now you see the size of a chain compared to humans. Fine. And all the oars. In those days, no engines. They had oars. So anything that's essential for the ship is included in the sail of the ship. So this is very sad. Even in our day, today,
They met on a fishing vessel where they were both exploited by a violent crew. Wachamin's family thought he was dead after 6 years away at sea. They reunited thanks to his friend Sharat, who alerted authorities once he was freed by Indonesian forces. Their ordeal began in Thailand, where they were hired to work across Southeast Asian waters.
On the fishing boats, I worked almost 20 hours a day, and they beat us.
Cambodians and Burmese shared the same fate as the 2 Thai men.
Bekitzer, bizman hazeh, they would go grab people off a ship and use them as slaves. Use them as slaves on a boat. Don't pay them nothing. Just grab a guy, a random person, off a fishing boat, put him on your boat, and beat him until he works 20 hours a day. So if you sell a boat like that, it does not include the slaves. You don't get you get to keep your own slaves. These are martzufim. These are martzufim. They're the sacks that you put the cargo in. Velois antiki, and it doesn't include the antiki themselves or the sacks themselves. Why? Because that is metaltalin. If you look in the Rashbam, towards where it says Gemara, like 4 or 5 lines before, it says Avalhani the high pirka metaltalininu. The things that we're talking about are metaltalin loishna mecher veloishna matana v'hegdish. You should just know Yisod, says the Rashbam, that when it comes to a matana, hegdish, selling, metaltalin is not included. When I sell a field, it doesn't include the bikes, the computers, the barbecue, the grills. Movable objects are not included. So they're not included when I sell you a ship, when I'm magdish, when I give a gift as well. But when I say specifically that includes everything, it includes the metalton as well. Says the Gemara, Toiren is Zechariah. That's a mast. They took cedar, very tall tree from Lebanon, from Lebanon. Lastly, Toiren, to make a mast. Halayich. Nes, what's a nes? Adra, sail. Sheish. Berikmom, Mitzrayim, Hoim, first Seich, Lies Lachen, Lenes. You sail through the nes. Oigin, what's Oigin? Tani Rebechia, Elu, Oiginin Shalah. Says Rashi, look at Dibur Maskil, Oiginin, anchors. It's an anchor. V'cheinu oimer, halohein tisaberno adashi yigdolu. Nami tells Rus, halohein to agena, levilti yoislish, a lotion of aguna, to hold back. The anchor holds the ship back from going. That's the lotion of aguna. She's held back. She can't get married. Manhigin. What does manhigin mean? the ones who drive it. Rebaba, Omar Rebaba, Elu HaMeshaitin Shalom. These are the oars. It comes with the oars. Zechenu Omer, Aloinim Mibashim from oak. Also, they made Meshaitayach its oars. Bibai Seim Hacha from another passage. The other man you say him called Toif Seim Mashait. Okay. Tana Rabbana. Hamoicher is Asvina, Mochar is Iskala. It's the ramp, Iskala.
Even though it's metal,
Right, but it's a exactly. Yeah, I thought it would be. Here's Meshaitim. So no, I'm saying I thought it was simple, but you're right. Have to be masber. Meshaitim are metaltalin. They pick it up and go, but they are an essential part of the boat. It can't move without it, so therefore it is the boat. Where sacks and other metaltalin are not. Mochar is a skala. What's a skala? Here's a ramp, or let's do this one. This is a better iskala. This is a nice size ramp. That's also included. What? Wow, you didn't see the truck coming off it yet. Oh, here we go. Now you go to sea, you need to drink something, you can't drink the seawater. Don't worry, on the cruise, they have their own plant. They make their own water. They're able to desalination. Here, she did a beautiful job here. You could even see the water moving in there. So, it includes the actual bar, not the water, the bar. Which the Gemara is going to say is the same thing. That basically, when you go even on these cruises or any other ship, you go with a live aboard, if you know what that is. One day we'll have to do a kosher live aboard. It's like a nice ship that has rooms in it. They go scuba diving, even Velayla. If you're into scuba diving, they take you to places that you can't really reach with the regular thing, but they give you the meals, and they have this little boat on it that's attached to it. Here, I think we have this is more like what is it? I know that we had it. Oh yeah, Beatsis. This is more like comes right out of the ship. It's a little baby boat. It could hold, 50 people. That looks like a safety one, but okay, Givaldik. So,
and then what?
That's for a different shear. Scuba diving shear. Oh my Rava. So the larger boats can't get too close to land, so they have a little boat that they pull behind, and you jump into that and you go. Oh my Rava. Bitzis, Haina Dugis. Rava says it's the same exact thing. Reb Nosson Bavla, Reb Nosson Hava. Reb Nosson came from Bavel. So he called it Butzis Kedamri. That's what people say. Butzis of the Meshon. It's a Butzis from Meshon. Sumchas the Bar Eretz Yisrael. Since Sumchas came from Eretz Yisrael, called it Dugis. It's the same exact thing. Kidachsev Achrischem Besirois Duga. Rabbi said, here it goes. In fact, the Gemara is going to give us 21 stories, and we have to make a Hagdama before we start a sugya like this. Many of you are going to have many questions. How is it possible that there's a wave that's 300 miles tall? What happened? I mean, it doesn't. I never saw anything like this. How is it possible you have a frog the size of the city? Okay, great questions. The point is, this is Agadata. When it comes to Agadata, it's a way for Chachamim to put in very big secrets of the Torah, Kabbalah, and secrets intertwined in the Gemara. It's those who understand, understand. Those who don't, don't. For the right amount, I will divulge the secrets after shir. But I'm not allowed to give you more than the simple pshat. Now, every Gemara, every one of these stories has a nice message that you could take out of it. There's the Vilna Gaon on this. There's the famous book that was written just on the sugya, the juggler and the king. Mamish on this. It's based on the Vilna Gaon, an elaboration of the Vilna Gaon's interpretation of the Hiddush. This stick on this sugya. The Shiva of Ner Yisrael.
If you want the real pshat, go to your father.
No, if you want nice pshat, look in the art scroll. That's what I did. And he brings the Vilna Gaon mostly. And it's very simple and very bekitzer. Everybody can take their own remez out of it. Some things need to be understood on a different level, and we're going to do the best we can in a very simple level. Omar Rabba, Ishtoli Nachusi Yama, the people from the ocean, those who go on the ships. We're talking about a ship. The parak is called Amoichas Asviros. I'll tell you a bunch of stories about the ships. Hi Galo, the Matbal Svina, this wave that drowns the ship. Mischazi kitzutzitza de nura chivarta bereisha. It looks like it has, like the tip of it is white flames. Umachinale, and then we hit it ba'alavta ba'alvato with a stick. The chokale eko asher eko. You have on the stick the words of the pasuk eko asher eko. It's the way. It's another name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which means he told Moshe Rabbeinu, "I'll be with you in all places. Don't worry." Ka Hashem tzvakos. Amen. Amen. Selah. If you hit the wave with this, we even have a little bit of Yoshi did something here. Here. If you're able to hit that white part with your club that says Eka Asher Eka Hashem tzvakos, Ka Hashem tzvakos. Amen. Selah, then it'll go down. So the Vilna Gaon says that this is a mashal to us in the voyage of life. The ocean is the world, the ship is the human body, and the traveler on the ship is the neshama. No one in their right mind wants to take a voyage on the ocean in those days in a wooden boat with 100-foot waves. And anybody that goes scuba diving knows there's a lot of wrecks down there, a lot. Even in our days. And, I don't know what the numbers were in those days. I'm assuming 50% never came home. So you're doing this, why? Because you want to make a little money. You go, you take a voyage, you come back quickly. He says that's the neshama. In this world, we're only here for a very short amount of time. We're here just to do a little business and run. You have to chaparain. But there's always that Yetzirah. He says the actual wave is the Yisurim that people go through in this world. And the top of the wave, the white part that's fire, that's the Yetzirah that tries to bring you down and not allow you to accomplish during your life. I'm just saying, Bekitz and Nimrods, you can look at Rabbi Feldman's book. And Lekavid, one of my most favorite people from the Shir, David Hagal, his last name is Hagal. It's a made-up name, but it's because he's a big surfer. He loves surfing. Even when he comes to Eretz Yisrael, he has a surfboard here and he goes surfing. So I thought, I'm not going to do this, and just one little thing, that the Vilna Gaon says that the wave is the Yisurim that people have in this world. And I want to tell you, when I was in Hawaii, once upon a time I was in Hawaii, maybe a few weeks ago, I remember, there was an inlet to the ocean that came by our house. And there was a shore, but it was, a few thousand feet to the right. And the first morning I get up and I see a bunch of guys sitting on their surfboard right in front of, like hundreds of feet in front of my house, but straight ahead. But the shore is thousands of feet that way. I'm watching them, they're waiting and waiting and waiting. Suddenly, that wave comes. And when it came, they all jumped on their board and they rode it off to the shore. And then they would do it all over again and wait, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 15. And then they brought this camp of kids, and there was 10 of them on this one long one, and the same thing, wait, and then fly into the shore. So perhaps according to the Vilna Gaon, it's not pshat that we live our life and once in a while we have Yisurim, and this guy has more Yisurim, and I wish I don't have the Yisurim. We live our life and we wait. We wait patiently, and then those Yisurim come. You could get knocked over and just drown in the waves, or you could jump up on that board and ride it out to the shore, because those Yisurim are what actually help us, and they bring us to where we need to go. And then if you want to stop, up it up a little bit, the famous Gemara in Yevamis that Rebbe Kiva was on a boat and the boat was going down, so he grabbed onto the daf. It says daf. But now I'm saying daf means a surfboard. That's what a daf means. It's a ruchni surfboard. It's the daf of Torah. You take that Torah surfboard and you surf out your life and you break all the Yisurim. All right. My chavrus asked me not to say it, so that's why I had to say it. Zokti Gemara. Omar Rabba, Ishtoli Nechoisi Yama, Bengala Legala, Tlasma Parsi. Between a wave and a wave, there's 300 parsi. Now understand that a parsi is like 2.5 miles. So you're talking about over 600 miles between wave to wave. What is going on here? Viruma the Gala, Tlasma Parsi, the height of this wave is 600 miles tall. You know, I've heard of giant waves at 100 feet. Maybe you'll tell me even 200, 600. Okay. What?
Tsunami.
So the tsunami, actually, I looked it up, was only about 30 feet. It wasn't very tall. It was just very powerful, very fast. And it went all the way up onto the shore. But okay, I also thought tsunami, 200, 300, talking about 600. 30 meters, whatever.
Very far. Much
But I wanted to say, Viruma the Gala Tlasmeo Parsa. A lot of times in Shas, 300 is a guzma, 400 is a guzma, but some Rishonim say no, it's actual. The Vilna Gaon says, and it's not so much the Vilna Gaon, but I saw written down that Tlasma Parsa means a month, because a person could walk 10 parsa a day times 30, 300. Again, it's referring to the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara changes his tactics every month. He tries to get you over here, then he gets you from over there. It's not every day, every 30 days. It's a new, it's a reference to a month. It's not exactly a month, but it means that he has different tricks and he comes from different areas. He attacks from different angles. Zimnochado havazlina beurcha. We were once going on the way. V'dalinon gala, and this wave lifted us up. At the chazinon bei marbati de kechavazuda, we saw a small star. The haveli kimivzar. It seemed like arbaim grivi bizra de chardla. Interesting lashonas here, like 40 kur of small mustard seeds. It's a tremendous area. Vidalin and tfei, and if it would have lifted us even a little bit, slightly more, we would have been burned from its fire. And one wave spoke to the other wave. Please do me a favor, leave me over. I want to cause a little bit of damage. I hope you left me something. Please, I want to do it. I want to be zoicha to cause some damage. So the Vilna Gaon says that this is people that the wave lifts them up, meaning they become baligaiva. They think to themselves, oh, what a tzaddik I am. And the heat is referring to anger, to kas. The bottom line is the Yetzer Hara could destroy a person. And the hemshech is, Omar Lei, so the wave says to the other wave, Puk chazi, go look and check this out. Gvurta de Morah, look at the strength of your master, the Rebbeinu Shlomo. We can't even go past the sand on the beach. There's a certain area, there's a line, and it says up to here is where you go. A lot of people are very worried about global warming and what's going to happen to the giant, the ice and whatever. It's going to melt, and we're going to all. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells the water, yeah, you have potential to go over there. I don't let you. This is it, up to here. Yetzer Hara also has potential. You could fight the Yetzer Hara. You have the koyach to fight the Yetzer Hara. You don't. You need Hashem to hold him back, and then you could do a little battle with him. You could do the little that we were able to do. Shenemar ha'isi lo yisiro num Hashem. What, you don't fear me? If from me you're not fearful, asher samti chol gvul, I put the sand as a boundary, layom chakoylam. That's a rule for life, forever. V'lo yavrenu. I'll never go by that. Fine. Shalom aleichem, guys. What's your names? Daniel Kahani from? Miami. Shalom aleichem. I never saw you there, but hopefully, Beis Hashem, one day. You're part of the WhatsApp group there? Yes. Great. You drove from Haifa? For this year? Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Wow. Unbelievable. Go ahead. And what's your name? I was here yesterday. Gil Harris. Gil Harris. Pilot. You're a pilot? For real? What do you fly? Oh, a jet. None of this Cessna 180 business. Used to teach. We got a schmooze, man.
What do you do?
I've never been on a private jet ever. Ever. It's fun. I really want to. One day. All right. Maybe MDY needs one, and we'll hire you as our private pilot. I say we could go to London, jump from here to there through.
Private plane.
Listen, Eli, what's his name? Where's Mati today? Eli Beer. He figured out how to get a bunch of these private jets for Hatzalah. We also have to be Matzah Nefashis. I have to go to LA, and Hawker's not going to make it from here to LA. I need a Gulf 550. What is it called? Gulfstream. 550 is not off on the number. That's what we need here so that we can get to LA real quickly and it won't disturb the shear. We can learn. But okay, well, we'll talk after shear. Listen, it's not going to cost anybody money. It's going to be one guy that has one and just going to give it to the shear. That's it. Finish. There's a guy in the shear that has one. Bamis. And he lives in Miami. He has one, and you'd
be allowed to give shear on that flight.
But he's undercover. Omer Abba. Li Chazili Hormiz Bar Lilis. Yeah, but look at the side. Hormiz, it's the name of a shade, the son of Lilis, the famous Sheidah. She's the head of all Shadim. This shade was running on the wall of Mechayza. V'roed Parasha, and there was a soldier on a horse running. Kirochev Chevasa Mitatai. He was on the bottom. We did a little bit of a thing here. Not that okay. Here, check this out. And the guy in the bottom is also running with the horse. Now the Rashbam says the guy in the bottom doesn't really see the guy in the top. Okay. That's his end of the story. The shade looks cute. So it's interesting because based on the Rashbam, there's a Shaila, the Goin doesn't really learn like this. The Rashbam seems to say that the soldier is going quicker than the shade. The shade couldn't keep up with the soldier. It doesn't. I don't know how it fits in with the next line in the Gemara. The Vilna Gaon says the opposite. Okay? The bottom line is, and the Rashbam is saying, that without HaKadosh Baruch Hu saving us, we would be damaged by these shadim. You don't even know that they exist. You're not even paying attention, says the Umiyu HaParasha Lo Yemiskaven Lekach. Or Lefi Tumai, V'rod Parasha Lefi Tumai. He didn't even know that he's running after him. He's trying to chase him on the wall. Another thing says, you have to be careful, not from shadim. Zim L'chada, Hav Misargon Le, Tarte Kudniyasa. He got together two mules. Mules are a reference to something that doesn't give birth, it can't, there's no continuation. V'kaimen atrei gishrei deroignag. The shade, this would have been, I wasn't so involved in this would have been, I think, a better 3D animation of, and this, by the way, is the name of the book right here. V'shavar mahai lahai u'mahai lahai. The shed was jumping from one bridge, in other words, from one mule to another mule, from one bridge to another bridge. He had two glasses of wine in his hand, and he was juggling, and that's why the book is called The Juggler and the King. So basically, I'm not going to do this here, but he threw everything in this cup, and at the same time, he threw everything in this cup, and what left this cup was grabbed by this glass, and what left this glass was grabbed by this one, and not even one drop of wine hit the floor. And this is all while he's flying from bridge to bridge on a very, very stormy day. It was a very, very stormy day. And then the king heard about this story. Why did they kill him? Because the king of the Shadim was very upset at him that he divulged the secrets of the Shadim, that he showed how it works, what they're capable, their superpowers. There's a lot of, I don't want to say the word movies, but there's a lot of like super characters that have different powers. They can become invisible, and then all of a sudden, this guy is showing all his superpowers. You're not allowed to show your superpowers. So again, the Vilna Gaon says over here that the top part of a human being, his power of speech, his imagination, his thought process, his brain. Oh, look who's here. Hi, you. Welcome back. Shalom Aleichem. that refers, that's the Rebbeinu Shalom, where the bottom part of where the food gets digested and everything else refers to the hurmas, the shed, and the taivas of a human being. And the wall that he's running on is Torah. They had a lot of Torah, but a lot of the Torah was not for the right reason. The soldier on a donkey is a ben Torah, a true ben Torah that learns. The two mules refer to people that learn for their own hana, and the 2 cups of wine are the taivas of this world, the kavod and taiva. When you don't have enough taiva, you go to kavod. You don't have enough kavod, you're constantly juggling your taivas. Bekitzer, you could ayin sham, and the people that are involved with their taivas, they believe always that death, they're not part of that. That belongs to other people. That guy that got the machla, no, he's in a different party. He's in a different group. My people, we don't have that. We live forever. Which reminded me, I said, as I was saying this yesterday, I was in Minneapolis, and I didn't tell people I was going. I went to see Yeshiva there with my son, and a guy, he says, "Oh, what are you doing here? I do your shir. Let me get." So he got a bunch of guys together. And we did the shir live over there in the base marriage in a room. And I was saying during the shir, I said, the guy could be 80 years old, and he starts building a brand new house. And what are you doing? So the guy goes, "I'm 83. I just finished building my house." And I was like, wow, unbelievable. Like, people think that they're going to live forever. Busy building a new house. Busy, and I want this granite and this tile. Are you serious? For what? For 2 years? For 10 years? What? For how long? But there's no nafkamina if you're 83 or 53, it's the same thing. We're here for mamish minutes. But if a person is Isaac in his taivas, he thinks to himself he's not going to die. But then it says, then came Yalu Shamayim Yerd Tahimus. That day comes eventually, where you go up to Shamayim, you go down to Tahimus, means Gehenim, I think. It doesn't say, I don't think the Vilna Gaon says it, or it's not brought, but that's what it usually means. Tahim means the Gehenim. Okay. Amar Rabbi Lidi Chazili Urzilo Bar Yoime. I saw, turning of the daf, you're right. By Citron films. And Lilu Nishmas, the 6 hostages that were nifter, or I should say they were killed, Al Kiddush Hashem, this week. I have calendars? This stuff? Oh, okay. Rabbi, so we have to go. We only have 6 minutes to do this whole Amud. So Yossi Dahari, Yishkoyach Gadol for calendars. If anybody wants here, there's different types. Make sure that Rabbi Yaakov Rosen, make sure he gets. Yeah. Zog the Gemara. It's not all for you. You should, here, pass them down. 1 per person, yeah? Umahai. Where are we? Amar Rabbi. It's all Amar Rabbi. 21 stories. Now, almost all of Rabbi Bar Chana, by the way. Rabbi Bar Chana, I didn't say. There was a Hartovar here, by the way, it's here in Eretz Yisrael. There's a Christian thing on the top over there. This Hartovar, the Torah was supposed to be given on there, but we know the story. HaKadosh Baruch Hu offered it to Hartovar. So he says, I saw this ram. It's the Sharabar. This animal right here is only a day old. Navika Hartover was the size of Hartover. Hartover Kamahavin, how large is Hartover? Arbar Parsi. Umashochet Savare, and the length of its neck plus a Parsi, 3 Parsi. Ubei Marbata the ratio Parso Palgo. And the place where it rested its head is 1.5 Parsa. Roma Kufta, V'sacharle Liyardana. It relieved itself, and its waist plugged up the Yarden, which reminds me of the famous joke. There's a philosopher who asked Rabbeinu Shalom, I don't understand. You have these birds. They're very, very small. And you have the sky, which is huge. It's unlimited. Why did you put the birds in the sky, and these large animals, the cows and everything, they roam around on the ground? And as he's talking, something hits him in the head, and he looks up, he sees a bird, just did what a bird does on his head. He says, oh, Now I have. So Rama Kufta v'sochel yerdana. It's dangerous. Sometimes it could cause. No, we're not going to edit that. So I'm just trying to think if this is on the next one. Okay, let's go weiter. There was a giant frog. Here, we got a picture from Yoshi. The frog the size of 60 houses. The Vilna Gaon says a frog is a Talmud Chacham who constantly talks and learning. And 60 is reference to the 60 Mesechtes in Shas. And how many? There was 60 houses there. Also, Tanina Bala. The Hebrew article says Tanina is a snake. The English one says it's a sea monster, some giant. In Hebrew, it means like a crocodile, but it's more like some monster. Also, Pushkanza Ubale Litanina. A female raven came and swallowed the sea monster. Usolik Yosef Bilana. It was so large, this raven, it was able to eat a giant animal that ate up a giant frog and was able to land on a tree. Tochazi, come and look. How strong this tree is able to hold such weight. So, before, okay, I wanted to say the pshat, the Gaon says in the one before, I'm not going to go through the whole pshat because we're past it, but just this one line that he brings, the Shabbos Daf Samach Gimel, it says in Shabbos Daf Samach Gimel, Ligmar v'hodar lizbar. First you have to learn Torah, all of it, then you go into the depths of it. Again, first you learn all the Torah, then you go into the depths of it. Today it's slightly reversed. We go to the depths of it, we do Eon, without knowing one word, and then maybe later on in life, when you're 50, 60, you start learning through Shas. But he says that the Gemara is referring to people that think they know everything. The first day in yeshiva, they start bombing questions, and they literally like an animal putting clogging up the dam by doing that, and eventually they chap. But okay, again, based on the Yitzhahara, based on Taiva, on Gaiva and stuff like that. But anyways, as I was saying, this frog is Talmud Chacham, 60 volumes of Shas, the Yitzhahara attacks the Talmud Chacham. So he says that a Talmud Chacham, he should let somebody else do his parnasa. Don't work. If you're a Talmud Chacham, let somebody else be the Yisachar Zvulun, do a Yisachar Zvulun thing. And the tree is in reference to a person who supports Torah. He's a strong tree, brings psukim. And the Talmud Chacham who overcomes this taiva to accumulate wealth, that's what we're talking here. Okay. V'omar Rabba Bar. V'omar Rabba Chano? Oh, okay. Omar Rabba Shmuel Ilav Avoy Hasam Lehemni. That according to the Vilna Gaon means that the people in Eretz Yisrael give more money to Torah than the people in Chutz La'aretz. I heard mamish this week from somebody that collects money said we don't even go to Chutz La'aretz anymore. The people here in Eretz Yisrael, if you know the right people, they give more than in the Chutz La'aretz. I don't think the Rosh Koil agrees with that, but okay. You know the right people. But says Rav Papa, who's from Bavel, if I wasn't in Eretz Yisrael, I wouldn't have believed it, but I was there and I saw it with my own eyes. Huh? Try it today. We were once on a ship. We saw a giant fish. A small creeping animal went into its nose and it died. Here, something like this. There's a giant fish. And even today, if you go online, you'll see that when these things happen, the people eat their meat. 60 cities were destroyed because of this. And 60 cities were able to eat from its meat. They put it in the freezer. 60 cities did, or they salted it so it should last longer. And they filled from one of its eyes a tremendous 300 amounts of oil. When it came back 12 months later, I saw that they were, okay, finally it got to the bottom of it, and they used the bones of the whale of this giant thing as they used it for building, to use it for shade. And they used it to build these cities. It's like if you look online, you'll see like when an elephant dies, it takes like days upon days for this animal comes and eats from it, and then the smaller ones, and finally, eventually you get to see the bone. So the different pshatim, 12 months is the time that it takes you to forget about the mace. So eventually you forget about the mace, and then you start rebuilding. We saw this fish that had sand on its back. There's a very nice picture I forgot to show yesterday for the Hebrew. Here we go. Fish with a little sand on his back. There's a little bit of a river flowing through. We thought it's an island. We went on it. We made a barbecue. When it got a little hot and it realized that there's a barbecue on its back, it flipped over. And if not for the fact that we had a ship right by there, we would have drowned. Again, different Zaides, different things. So the Nesivus says on this one, I don't want to forget that one. The Nesivus says, and the Reb Nachum Parchavit says, he was told over this Nesivus at the Yom Kippur War, and he said the Nesivus had Ruach HaKodesh for saying this. He says that there's going to come a day that the Jews are going to be powerful and they're going to take over a nation. And they're going to be relaxed. They're going to think, we have this under control. And then the nation from within is not going to like it, and they're going to make an uprising. And it's going to be so terrible that if not the fact that Mashiach is there, that's the boat that's going to save them, they're going to flip over the country. There's a lot of we traveled with the ship between the two fins of the animal. Here, I just threw this together just to give you an idea. Here, this is what Yoshi did. This is a giant whale next to a canoe. This is the size of this thing. But that he did the two front ones. I think it's more like this. The two fins on top. So in other words, the fish was traveling north. They were traveling south in the opposite direction. And it took 3 days and nights to get from one fin to the other fin. So this is my famous, I like to ask people this question. If you know the answer, please don't answer it. If you don't know it, think about it. If you get on a train in New York, and the train for the last 20 years has been going every hour on the hour from New York to Los Angeles, and it takes 12 hours to get to Los Angeles. And there's a train from Los Angeles that's been going for 20 years already, every hour on the hour from Los Angeles to New York. And you get on a train. How many trains are you going to see passing by when you're on that rail? And don't pretend you didn't hear it and you know the answer on your own, and you're going to answer it, because I know who you are, I know what you're about to say. No, Rabbi said, how many trains are you going to see? It takes 12 hours to get from New York to Los Angeles. And you're going from New York to Los Angeles. How many trains are going to pass you by when you go? Every hour on the hour they leave from Los Angeles. Huh? 12, 6. The answer is 24. It's double. Why? And just simple math. Because before you even left the train station in New York, there was already 12 trains on the track. And it's going to take you 12 hours to get there. In the next 12 hours, there's going to be another 12 trains leaving. And the point is, you're going in the same direction. Every half hour, you're going to see a train. Because you're going there. So, over here also, there's two fins. You're going in the same, it's 6 days of traveling, basically. That's what you're doing here. But it's even more than 6 days because you're going fast and the other guy's going slow.
Question, because you used to say that you're entering the question, you're only thinking that I'm starting now. But there's a history to what's been going on.
Oh, really? Chaim Brisky.
You
have to know the history. You have to know the history, says Chaim Brisky. Okay. 3 days, 3 nights. We were going, he was going beskifa against the wind. In other words, he's going slower. We're going faster. Maybe you'll say we weren't going very fast. As long as it takes to heat up to boil the water, we went 60 parsa, like 120 miles. Now, in today's musagim, and they had oars. How do they go 120 miles? We have massive engines, diesels, and 10,000 horsepower, and we're only going 30 knots, 40 knots. So, again, these are things we're not understanding. It's not literal. Vishadi, Parasha, Gira, and our ship, okay, these wooden ships went so fast that when we shot an arrow, the ship was faster than the arrow. The name of is called Gedale Yama. The Islay Trey Shitze. It has these two fins like this. By the way, it's not so usual for a shark to have two fins like that. I saw this bird that was up until its ankles in the water, and its head was in Shemayim. Here's a picture. So, if its whole foot is sticking out of the water, obviously it's standing on a very shallow water. I want to jump into the water to cool my soul down. Don't even try going in there. Because an axe fell out of the hand of a carpenter 7 years ago, and it didn't even reach the bottom of the ocean. Not because it's very deep. I don't want to. Okay, without volume, I think it will be better. But Bekitzer. Okay, you didn't hear me, so fine. Because the water is so turbulent that the X is still spinning over there. In other words, that's why you shouldn't go in there. It doesn't matter if water is 1,000 feet deep or 10 feet deep. You still drown in 10-foot the pool. But the point is, it's turbulent. That's why you shouldn't go there. Oh, here, he's showing you now? The turbulent waters from Africa. Okay. I know it's late, but these are very long dapping. Let's see, how long is this one? Yeah, also, no, that's Amud Beis is very long. Okay, so we'll just do one more story then, because Mamish pushing it here. I was in the desert. The feathers were falling out because they were so fat. And oil was dripping out of them. A very interesting question to ask somebody, or a goose. Hey, am I going to get to eat you in Olam Haba? One raised up its wing. In other words, yes. And one raised up its thigh. Yes, you're going to eat from this. Klai Yisrael are going to give a din v'cheshbon on what just happened. Now, this is a super interesting Rashbam. I don't claim to understand it, but that's what it says here. It says the Rashbam. Because of your sins, Mashiach is not coming. You hear what's going on here? Because you sinned, so Mashiach is not coming. Because Mashiach is not coming, they're getting fatter and fatter, and it's very heavy and bad for them. You're going to pay on the Tsar Belachayim of the geese that you don't even know, but you cause them pain. So here, once again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you an oynish on potential pain. So, boys, don't forget. Text your friends, status your friends, tell them we just started a brand new parak with a Gadata. Be zoichet the Chayalim Abba. And also, if you have the chance, you should. Motzei Shabbos, we're going a little earlier. 9:30 Motzei Shabbos in English, 10:30 in Hebrew. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.